morning. Well, I just got up from my morning nap and I have to make something for dinner. So I'm going to make something called dirty rice. And it's very simple and it's easy to do. And I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so I'm starting my pan with some peppers and some ground meat. It's a little too hot. It's down a little bit. And I'm chopping up my toppings. We're going to ground it all down. And the reason I'm using this big pan is because it's dirty rice, so the rice is going to cook in here. Okay? Now, generally, I would add celery and onions to this. But I happen to make a potato soup. And the potato soup came out very oniony tasting. I wasn't really pretty happy with it, so I dehydrated it. And I'll show you that in a second. So this is the potato onion soup that I made. And I think I put too many onions in already, they were too strong. So it has potatoes, onions, celery, seasonings, carrots, everything else. And it had a little bit of chicken in it, very little. But so what I did was, when it cooled down, I dehydrated it in the oven. And you can see it's like a powder. So I'm going to add this as a seasoning to my dirty rice. Also, I need Cajun. Now, here's the other thing. I would also use celery. And I didn't have any fresh celery. So I had previously dehydrated celery. And this is my beef broth. And actually, I'm mixing turkey broth in it because I made some broth for from our Thanksgiving turkey. So there's 3.5 cups of that. 1.5 cups of rice. I've also got that I'm going to add some red kidney beans, which have been straining, and then some of this powder. So I will go back over to the stove, and as you can see, our meat is browning very nicely. And I'm not going to get rid of all that juice in there, and I'll tell you why peppers are good, because it's going to soak up in the rice. This is going to give it a little bit more flavor. You could, if you wanted to. I also added a little bit of butter in there. So butter goes with it. You know. Okay. So we're going to get our meat all done. To the meat, I'm going to add some salt and pepper. So I have like little wells right here. I'm going to add some salt to that. I'm not going to add too much salt because the soup is a little salty too, so it'll give it flavor. And then I'm going to add some pepper. Right in there. Pepper. Fabulous. Okay, and I still think I need to turn it down a bit more. Okay. And I want all my meat to be like the same type. It's almost like you're making a goulash kind of thing. And you guys were all talking about goulash the other day on the show, so I wanted something different. I didn't want to make meatloaf. And I always try to make a dinner for my husband before I go off to work. And then I usually bring some of it with me to work. So this is something hearty and easy. And so he can have that. Okay. So now, let me get back to that. Okay. So the meat is pretty much cooked down. If you do notice, I did take some of that, the fat out of there. This must have been I think this was a 80-20. It was a little fattier than I liked. I did take some out of that. So, okay, next. So remember I told you about that potato soup. This is how much I'm using. This is a 1/3 of a cup. And it's not quite a 1/3 of a cup. And I'm just going to sprinkle that in there. And it's going to suck up the juice and hydrate. And you won't even see it, but the flavor will be there. So we'll move that around. Just like that. And see how it's already sucked up some of that? You can dehydrate anything. You have to be careful with fats. But like I said, the chicken that was in here was not very fatty. Okay, so next thing I'm going to add is my rice. This is 1.5 cups of rice. Okay, give it a little mix. A little bit of a mix. And then I have 3.5 cups, and I want it to kind of be flat. So I have 3.5 cups of the turkey / beef broth with the celery. I'm gonna add, and I dropped my spoon, so I'll have to get another one. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let this sit on top here and come to a boil. Then we'll cover it and we'll simmer it for 25 minutes. And I'm gonna add my kidney beans. Make sure that it's really drained good. It is. Okay, so I'm gonna add my kidney beans. Yep, kidney beans. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. I just didn't feel like setting up the camera. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so we're gonna let it come to a boil. Okay, because you can see that it started to boil. I did add my Cajun spices. And Penzi, that's where I get my spices from. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower the heat just a little bit more. Okay, this is an enamel cast iron pan. I'm gonna put the lid on it. I'm gonna forget it for 20 minutes. And then well, 15. And then I'll come fluff it a little bit, and then I'll go for another 20. Okay, it's done. I'm probably gonna add a little bit more Cajun, just to give it a little bit more flavor. That's the steam. And then I'm gonna chop up some green onions and put it over the top. And pretty much that's it. So you could put this in a bowl, heat it up. You could put some cheese on top of it. Or you could put maybe some gravy on top of it. But actually it tastes good just like it is. I hope you enjoyed this, guys.